Hello, welcome back. This is part 2 of our Pergola series, and I'm so glad it's only 2 parts, huh? But anyways, the last time that we were catching up, I came up with this crazy, very complex project, and we had just had to build it, right? So for part 2, that's how we start. We start by cutting the woods. We went down there to where my father had hauled these pieces of wood that we needed to cut, right? So we went down there, looked at the biggest and the smallest ones, and the thickest and the thinner ones, and we had to sort them through, right? For our foundations, of course, we needed to pick the thickest ones. So that's what we're trying to find. We're trying to find the pieces of wood that were the thickest and that would match the size that we needed. Remember, we needed 80 centimeters underground for the foundation. So that's something that really played into our decision of which ones to pick. So we picked 4 for that reason. And then we had another part of the project was picking up 1, 2, 3, 4, picking other 4 for our horizontal scaffolding, if you will, the rows. That's the word. Anyways, so like after we did that, which it took us actually a long time. As a matter of fact, when we were cutting the woods, the chainsaw lost completely its power. It's completely out of battery. Yes, it is a battery chainsaw. Don't ask me why. But then what we had to do, we went primitives. We went freaking cavemen. We were doing freaking hand saw, me and my cousin. That took us so long. That was actually the longest part of the wood selection part. Anyways, eventually we finished that thing. Yay! And then after that, we had to bring everything up because the woods were in a lower place in our farm, and we just had to bring everything up. So we did it, but we were not done. We simply got the car and brought everything up. And the car and some of the other woods, they were just wrapped around the rope, and then we wrapped the rope in the car. Yeah! Stuff. When we got up there, first thing we did is to start digging the holes. So that's what took us not a long time, but it was the actual building of the project. It took us a good 20 to 30% of the time. So what we ended up doing is that we had a team preparing the shade. They were creating shade with a set of bamboos and a couple of cloths and a couple of fabrics that we had. And they just created it. They just raised the bamboos and they wrapped the cloths around the bamboos, and that's it. We had shade. And it was so much easier to do that after we got shade. Don't even get me started. And then we did it. We did everything. Digged the whole thing. Placed it. Aligned it. Remember, we had to align it because they not necessarily were at 90 degrees. The hole was not perfect, so you had to align it. We had so many little things we have to come up with to be able to verify that it was actually at 90 degrees. And you're seeing the footage. It's just insane. I don't even know how we did that, but they figured it out. The engineers figured it out. After we did that, the third step of all of this was to do the cuts on the horizontal woods. You ask me, what does that mean? So the horizontal woods, the 4 woods, they have a little cut just like this. And you're asking me, why did they have that cut? We have to do actually cuts on all those woods and also do cuts on the foundation woods. Why did we need to do that? Because the foundation woods would have one that's just like this, and then we would be able to place the eucalyptus, the other piece of wood that would go on horizontal, perfectly in there, and it would make it so much easier. Be able to place everything and check it out and organize it and just make the freaking screws life easier. You don't want to complicate your lives, not at all. So then we did that. We cut that little shape, and then we cut the shapes on the other horizontal woods because we needed to do that, be able to fit everything perfectly. So that took a long time. As a matter of fact, while we were doing holes, we're doing the holes, screwing the holes on these pieces of wood to be able to later on put a huge screw on it. We lost part of the screwdriver inside of the wood. That made us lose so much time, but that didn't stop us, which is great. Yay! Anyways, so after that, we placed everything. We put the screw. We had to cut the screw in because it's just a huge metal rod, and we just have to cut that rod in a bunch of little pieces, exactly 4 pieces. So we did that, cut everything, placed the screws. Beautiful work of art. I was so happy at the very end. My father really wanted to put a freaking hammock in there, and my sister also wanted to put a hammock, but I left there to the second day. Later on, we put the hammock I remember staying there for 20 minutes and just looking at everything we built. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Then later on, we put a little net on top, a little thing, just to try to protect whoever is up there from the sun, because the sun is killer up there, and you don't want to go against it. So thank you so much for watching all this. It was an amazing experience building all this and sharing it with you. Let me know what you think. Write in the comments. What do you want to see next? Peace.